Hello crafty friends, welcome to Donna's Creations and More. Today is a collaboration WWW Woodround or Wreath Wednesday, and the hosts are DIY with Aria and very creative with Aria Creations. DIY with Aria. Please check out these wonderful women's channels. Now let's get on with my tutorial. To start off with, I have this scarecrow that I believe I got at Dollar Tree, and I have a bunch of stuff around me, some ribbon, some Dollar Tree wreaths. This is one of them steering wheel covers. I was letting you know it does fit the pumpkins wreaths in the Dollar Tree, but I'm going to use a round wreath here from Dollar Tree and add my steering wheel cover to this. Just like that. Look, fits perfect. So think about that. You can use steering wheel covers to cover your wreath. So I have a piece of scrap wood. I drilled some holes into it. Well, there was already one hole, but I drilled another hole. And you can tell it's a piece of scrap wood. And I have a little welcome sign. So we're going to move on real quick here. And we're going to give this a fresh coat of some gray paint here. I think it's called granite gray. Just because you can see it's all old and worn, and I had pencil marks on it because I cut it, I used another part of this for another DIY in the past when I did my spring thing, when I made little blocks with a saying. I can't remember. But anyhow, we're just going to grab a paper towel and put that on it and shove it to the side to dry. And then I'm going to take my little welcome sign here and I'm going to pull this trick that I learned from another crafter that I collaborate with, Lady Red Crafting, and she takes a piece of tape and puts it on a piece of scrap cardboard, and that way your fingers don't get all dirty. And I love this little hack. And I really hate getting chalk paint on my fingers. That's what I'm using, the black chalk paint. For some reason, it does not want to come off. So I'm just going to give us a coat of black chalk paint real quick, set it aside to dry. Now back to our scarecrow here. And I end up doing a lot to the scarecrow, but look at his little hand. It's way too long and bushy. And I do end up trimming the bottom of the feet too, off camera at the end. But they were trimmed too, because they're super long and they look funky when I went to do my final reveal. And I'm like, oh. So the top don't have enough in my book. So some of them pieces we just cut off, I'm going to add to the top here. Just to fill it in a little bit more. Just like that. Maybe I went overboard on this wreath. I don't know. I did a lot to the scarecrow and to my wreath, but I really love it. I'm thinking maybe two of my flowers need to be moved. I don't know. I have to keep looking at it. You guys know how it is when you do a craft. You do it and then you look at it and look at it. You're like, So anyhow, I have a piece of this little burlap trim from Dollar Tree, and I want to spruce them up a little. So I'm going to cut a piece of this and hot glue it on and tuck it under so you don't see them raw edges. I just needed some more farmhouse look and some more color. I had to bring them colors out of his clothes. So then here I have one of my old shirts, way back when. So I'm going to cut my shirt up, and I'm going to make him a little red, I know it's not handkerchief type thing around his neck, but I'm just going to add a little piece so you can still see that brown. Just to bring the red out of his clothing, just to make him pop and look better. And see, it does. So we're just going to hot glue that in place. And then of course we don't stop there. I'm like, what else can I do to him here? He needs more color. And well, here we go. I take my shirt again, and I cut off the very bottom where it's hemmed. And of course I didn't make sure it was completely straight, and it's not perfect, but we're just gonna give him a little bit of trim on the edge of his clothing, on his arms and his legs. So we're just gonna hot glue that in place and trim it off, and do the same thing on the other side. And look, he's looking so much better. He just needed some more color. And voila. Looking better already. Look at that. Just add a little bit of red to him. Now we're gonna... I have some clothesline here. And my wooden block. I really don't know how much clothesline I need, so I'm just trying to measure the size of the whole entire wreath and a little bit extra, and I cut 2 pieces. And I try to thread it through here. And I'm using a pair of tweezers because I needed something that was sharp, not sharp, but stronger, to push it through this hole. But then when I did, it was pulling the outside that covered the clothesline, and all the threads from the inside came out. I was like, oh no, we can't have that. So I go and grab my drill again. We're going to try to make this hole bigger so I can get this clothesline right on through. So I didn't have a bigger drill bit, so I'm just working the drill bit back and forth and angles to make my hole bigger. And it worked. Look, threads right through. Yay. At least that side. This side, I decided put a little bit of hot glue. Nope, I burnt it. I was wrong. And then I just twist it through and push it. And yep, it goes right through. Yay, our holes are big enough. And I just cut off that burnt piece. Now let's bring our scarecrow back. We're going to glue his bum right on the wood piece so he's sitting up. Which you will see what does not stay because of the paint, and I have to glue his bum down again. Wasn't sure how I was doing this exactly, but I want to make him a swing. And that's what we're doing. So he's sitting on a swing. So I'm just trying to keep the edges from fraying. Add some hot glue on there and glue it onto his hand. And then I'm gluing this piece on, but I end up taking it off to even it out because it still wasn't even. And you'll see that as I further go on the video when I add it to the wreath. So we got his little swing part set here. And I was wondering if I should glue his pants in more so you can see more of the swing, but I'm not worried about it. Now, to make this fit better, I went and cut off one of these rings on this wreath. As you see, there's 4 rings, so I'm going to cut off the very top one. And then I'm like, well, that's not going to work. I'm going to have to cut further out on each end so my wood block will fit down the side. So I cut each side and then cut the little pieces off. Now it's wide enough. The reason I cut it is because he was just way too tall for the wreath. His head would have been really high. So here I'm trying to hot glue. Remember, this is a stretchy steering wheel cover. I didn't want to cut the elastic and maybe mess it up. So I'm trying to hold down this elastic fabric and glue this sucker together. It works sorta, but not completely. And you'll see me fix it. And you know what? After all I did, I really didn't have to do this part, and neither do you. Well, sorta. No, you do have to do this part to get the wood block to fit down. I'm thinking you didn't because you're not going to see it, but you do have to do it to get the wood block to sit down further. And why I did this, I never know. Like, my wood block is not curved, it's straight. I'm like, what am I thinking? But thank goodness you're not going to see it. So, I glue him on a little bit. Let's get this rope to his swing up. So I hot glued the bottom of the swing more because it just wasn't staying yet. I felt that when I pulled the strings, I was like, oh, he's not on good enough. Being that impatient crafter, I just don't wait for the glue to set and everything else. Well, guess what? Everything's going to set now because I'm going to make sure. So here I go with the hot glue in the back. And then the back, some of the fabric stayed down, but not all the way. And I went to the extreme. I don't know why. You're not going to see this part. But I went and took my little clips here and clamped it in place by the hot glue set because I'm not going to sit there and hold it. And these little handy dandy clips are perfect when you're using hot glue and all because they have silicone on them. I need to get another pack. You see, I didn't have enough, but I had to use some other ones that I had. So I wanted to make sure the frame that I cut is covered by the fabric too. So I went and clamped that down with the fabric and hot glued it right there. And all that's clamped in place so that glue was set. And I don't have to hold it, yay. So again, here's my scarecrow. He came off because of the paint and me pulling on it so much. So Let me glue his bum down on here again. And here I go messing around with it instead of waiting. Here's Donna, not waiting again. Trying to straighten out my strings. I'm like, okay, let me hold his butt down here because I'm pulling on him. And how's he supposed to stay if I keep wrestling around with them? And I can feel he's still not staying. And why? Because I keep pulling on him. Messing with these little strings. So here I take them apart. Remember I glued them earlier. And I hear Kelly screaming in the background. Cows! So I want to get his little swing strings attached here. But first let me glue his arms down. Because you know, if I glue him down more than just his bum, he's going to stay. And I'm adding more hot glue to the back of him. That way he completely stays. And he does this time. I had enough goddamn glue and gluing his hands and all that. He ain't going nowhere. So I remove all my clips because my glue is set now. We can get them out of the way here. Now we can finish working on the scarecrow and get his little, gosh, I can't think. The strings to his swing hooked to this wreath. So I add a little bit of hot glue and on the front, and I wrap it around the back, and I tuck it under, and I just make a knot. We're just gonna tie a knot on the very back. And I do the same thing on the other side. Add a little bit of hot glue, pull it around, and tie it in knot. And then I'm gonna take both of them strings, and I'm gonna make another knot so I have a hanger. And then I just cut it off, and I hot glue the ends and the knot so it totally stays secure. And that's how we will hang our wreath. Now look how cute that's looking. Now it's time to decorate our wreath. Nope, we got finished working on a swing, sorry. I wanted to add like a little knot to cover up where the glue was. So I took my little clothesline, and on each joint there where I glued it together, I had a little bit of clothesline knot. And just left that like that, if it's frayed or whatever. Just put a little bit of hot glue to keep it in place. Hold that knot in place. And secure it to the rope. Now I have this ribbons. I have one from Dollar Tree, and I have two very, very old ones. And I picked orange, green, and a burgundy to try to bring out more of them colors. So I'm going to take this ribbon, and I'm going to dovetail the ends. Then I'm going to grab this green ribbon that's very old, cut off that part that's been sitting out and got all dusty, and throw that away. And and cut myself another piece and dovetail my ends. And then I do the same thing with the burgundy. These are very old. It came from Joann Fabrics way when I was younger. Like way younger. Like 20 years ago. So I have one strip of each, but that's not going to look right. So I need another piece of the burgundy and another green piece. So I go and do the same thing, dovetail them, and I want to crisscross them. And I'm going to take a piece of wire and I'm going to scrunch it all together and twist it together. Twist the wire around the back and make it really tight and secure. Then decide to cut the thick orange ribbon into two. Now I just tighten it up. Now I'm going to dovetail these ends. Then I'm deciding, okay, where the heck do I want to put this thing? Don't look right there. And that's where I was going to put it. And I got my little welcome word. I'm like, oh gosh, it's so dark you can't even see the welcome word. My ribbon ain't looking right. Some cute little places it will look, and I'm just messing around trying to figure where the heck to put what. So the ribbon would look cute there if I made another one. But we're going to put that aside a second. We'll come back to the ribbon. We got to fix this welcome word. It's too dark and dingy. So I take a little bit of white paint and I'm whitewashing it. But I'm adding more of the white to the edges to make the word pop. So you can tell it says welcome and it's all black and dark. So I'm just trying to get the very edges of the word. So it looks really good now. Then I have from Dollar General these pumpkins. It was a pumpkin garland that I bought last year. So I'm like, let's try one of these pumpkins here. And I'm like, oh, that'd be cute sitting on his lap. Don't worry, you guys. I realize this pumpkin is way too much, and we will fix it. So I set the pumpkin on there, and I put the little welcome sign on. And I get everything all adjusted, because I want it to look all right. And get my welcome sign straight because it was all crooked. And we're like, okay, we're done with these. I don't want any more of them on here. And again, they were from Dollar General. It was $3. Now I'm going to take these burgundy flowers. I think I got these from DOLLARTREE. And I add these to my wreath. Now, this is where I'm not sure about these two flowers here. Because I really can't see my rope. And I'm wondering if I should pull my rope over. I have a whole bunch of stuff you see here I'm showing you. I have some picks and some flowers and stuff that I'm going to be using. I really think I should bring the string over top. And I'll probably end up doing that later. but it was not done. But watching back on this video and the pictures, and that looks so funny with like the 4 flowers. I'm like, okay, that ain't looking cool. We have this pick here, and it's got some bling and some little pumpkins and a gourd and all. So I'm like, okay, we can add these. Let's move these flowers up. And why I'm trying to cut them with my good scissors, I don't know. So I cut all the pieces. No, I do not. I just cut the pumpkin off. And I decided to put the pumpkin on this side. With that one gourd. And then it came with a different pumpkin that was a different color. Now I'm cutting it all in pieces. So we're going to add the other pumpkin to the other side. And glue that into place. Now I'm taking that ribbon. Remember that bow I made? Well, guess what? That bow is going to go right underneath here. It'll prop his legs up more and fill in this area. So that's where that bow is going to go. So we do end up using it. And I'm just fixing the patch because it was barely on. So I'm like, okay, what else we gotta do here? I need way more on this wreath. So I'm cutting another pick. And I got some fall leaves and all. We definitely need some fall leaves and all put in here. We need some greenery. So I'm just adding things. So I have a fall leaf on that side and I add some green fall leaves. And another one that's like orangish color. So the steering wheel cover comes in great so you can go all your stuff down. Then I have this, I guess a gourd. I'm like, oh, this is cute and it's sort of burgundy. And we're going to add that on the other side of his leg. We're going to take some of these little fall leaves and add them to it. And we just keep decorating and decorating. And then I had these and I'm like, no. No, 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 no. These yellow things have to go. So we don't use them. So I have this, I guess, berry bunch, I don't know. So I'm going to glue them into place. Add one for each side. Nope, I had greenery. Sorry, you guys. I pulled some green leaves off, and I'm adding them in to fill in my wreath. Then one of my picks had this little berry bunch thing, and I was like, oh, this matches the gourd. I think it came with the gourd pick. And brings in more of that burgundy color, so we're going to glue that right here underneath the welcome sign. Just like that. And yes, I'm holding in place. Make sure it stays. And then this is where I glue in them bunches of berries, or whatever you want to call them. Clusters of berries. And then it had 2 glitter pieces, so I figured I'd add that in to bring a little bit of bling that's on the pumpkins down the bottom up to the top of this wreath. So I just stuffed them in there. So I ended up using like 2 picks and 1 little thing of flowers from Dollar Tree. And these picks I did not get from Dollar Tree. I ended up getting all this stuff from a neighbor of mine. So she also gave me this type of, I don't even know what this thing is called. It's missing a lot of pieces on it, but it was white and it has some red in it. And I'm like, oh, let me add that to bring another color in. Fills it in more, so we're just gonna hot glue that in place. And yeah, I know you really can't tell, he's on a swing. That's where I'm wondering about them two flowers, if I should bring the rope over top. But you can tell he's sitting. Then I have this other little 2 leaves that was just randomly sitting there, so I just pulled them apart and I'm like, oh, these are like really great colors. Let me add them in there. Give my wreath some more color in here. I think it's turning out lovely. Then I have, oh my god, someone just told me what they were. Oh my goodness. Them, well, no, I'm adding more of these, but I'm thinking, oh, what are them things called again? Them little, oh, pit berries. Oh my goodness. My friend, one of my crafter friends just told me what they were called. I have a bunch of little pit berries that she also gave me, so I cut a bunch off and I'm just adding them in all around my wreath. Now tell me, you guys, did I go overboard or not? I don't know. Looking at it, I'm not sure. And I just continue adding them where I want them. And that poor pumpkin on his lap is standing out like a sore thumb right now. I got all these beautiful fall colors and I got this pumpkin. I do fix it. And I'm going to add a little bit more of them pit berries to the very bottom on both of these pumpkins. And we're almost done, you guys. After I do this, we fix that pumpkin. Oh, no, we don't. Wait, I was wrong. I end up making some little, I call them tentacles. I don't know what they're called. Added a little wire that I cut off of them pit berries. I just wrapped it around this little piece from the flowers. You'll see. I'll show you in a second. As soon as I glue this one on, say I'm gonna cut a piece off and I'm just gonna wrap it around this little floral stem here and hot glue it onto this pumpkin. Get everything in my way just to ensure I don't have to add anything else to this pumpkin. Oh my goodness. This wreath. And get these nasty old glue strings off. I think it's looking pretty darn good. Oh. Nope. Donna takes it a step farther. I have this beautiful, I love this ribbon from Dollar Tree. So I wanted to use one of these pumpkins. And to bring in more of the burlap. So yes, I'm not done yet. And that didn't look right with the one part on there, the greenery. And I'm going to add this right to his darn hat. Because he needs something else. And then, yep, I add some of them pit berries to the very top of his hat. Sorry, you can't see that part. but my desk is only so big. And I didn't move them, but that's all I'm doing, is adding these little pit berries to the top where the Wraithy is on top of his hat. And then I'm making some of them little tentacles again, and adding that to the top of this pumpkin here. I'm wrapping around my little forest stem and hot gluing them in place. So I make the two little tentacles. They're not called tentacles. I don't know what they're called, you guys. But them little things that dry out on a pumpkin when you know it's ready. So I'm going to finish adding pit berries on the very bottom of this pumpkin. Some more. Yeah, some more of them. And then I decide just to go around and twirl some. So they're not just like sticking straight out. And then I grab a piece of scrap burlap I had. And I started cutting it into shapes. Yep, we're going to add some more. That's what I'm wondering, did I go overboard? I just wanted to make a patch at first. And then I'm like, oh, it'll look really cute if I add it in other places. So then I end up grabbing the scraps that I cut off, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to go here and there to have this burlap sticking down. And I add a little piece to the top behind the pumpkin. And then I add another piece behind the pumpkin. And I also take the little scraps there that I have and glue them on the back. Which turned out pretty good. And now we're going to fix this pumpkin. Yes, we took the ugly looking green thing off. First I decided to take the paintbrush that I had with the black that was in my dirty water and just try to shade this pumpkin to make it look more like a pumpkin and not so bright and standing out like it was, and make it look like a pumpkin. But it just wasn't enough, so I grabbed my brown paint. Well, no, I tried to dip it in water. The dirty water, but it still wasn't enough. So then I grabbed my brown paint. And then I just shaded in more. Just to give it that pumpkin look. And he wasn't so bright and standing out. Now that pumpkin looks a lot better. And here's the final reveal. Tell me what you guys think. Did I go overboard? Or is it just enough? And you can tell here where you can tell I cut the bottom of the feet off, or whatever, the raffia that was sticking out for his feet. But I think it turned out really good. So he's got all this cute stuff in his lap, and he's holding on to his swing and just sitting here enjoying himself. I think all the details turned out great. I'm just wondering about his swing strings, if I should move them or just leave it like it is. But now that I'm looking at it, I might just leave it. Subscribe, like, share, and comment, please. And thanks for watching. God bless. See you on our next tutorial. Bye.